Hello everybody, this is BScat100 and welcome back to some more Miles Edgeworth AAI2 Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path, the Grand Turnabout. In the previous episode, we went more head-to-head with Simon Keyes, him stacking lie after lie, and us trying to put the events together. Now, he's accusing John of murdering the body double. Let's find out exactly what happened. If you like what you see, leave a like down below, comment if you have anything to say, subscribe to me if you haven't already, and share with your friends so you can join in on this investigation. The murder of the double. Manipulating humans into fighting with each other. Sounds just like me, right? I did the same thing to Knightley and Blaze. At any rate, there's no way the body double could have gone for a ride in my balloon. The double was crushed by the monster's head, right? And who was it that caused that monster's head to fall? Do you understand now who the body double's real killer is? The truth that I provided them gave them a big motive for murder. Get it? Those two tried to kill each other because of the truth you're so fond of. Impossible! Hey, you detectives over there, hurry up and arrest this murderer. What's wrong? Why aren't you moving? Damn! I thought so. Just admit it. In the end, aren't you all the same as Blaze and the body double? You ignore the prime suspect and come after me without any evidence. How easily can it be distorted to best suit your needs, this law you all believe in? That is by no means true. Huh. If you're not going to arrest anyone, maybe I should have a talk with the policeman outside. If I tell them that John Marsh is the killer, they'll be forced to take action. Simon Keyes, your testimony isn't over yet. Really? I figured you'd try to stop me, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't have any evidence, do you? Which means there's no chance for you to win, right? But if you still plan to stop me, you should be prepared to take on this much risk. What? That much? It's only natural. After all, the fate of the truth culprit, John Marsh, is at stake here. Hey, Miles. Why don't you take a nice deep breath? Mr. Shields. At times like this, you should take a breather and think back. Defense attorneys always remain calm in a pinch and smile in the face of danger. The point of contention between your logic and his claims lies in the body double's escape route. How about, for example, we think of it like this. What's important isn't whether or not the body double got on the balloon, but rather, if we were to assume he did, what circumstances would have allowed for that? Turn my thinking around. Well, all I'm doing is a cheap imitation of your old man. Did it help? Circumstances that would have allowed the body double to get on the balloon. That's right, the body double had not only had a large build, but also had a gun. And in spite of that, no traces of sleeping drugs were found in his system. Which means it can't be. Mr. Edgeworth, are you ready yet? Hope you haven't forgotten about this. This is bad. I must break his testimony somehow. Manipulating humans into fighting with each other. Sounds just like me, right? Hold it! So you manipulated the body double and John to your will. You seem rather persistent about that, aren't you? Very much so. I'm an animal tamer after all. And isn't the greatest animal in the world man? I just tell people the truth in order to help them get revenge. They should all be thanking me! Mr. Edgeworth, I'm kinda scared. Steel yourself, Kay. One who sows seeds of revenge is a jest. This is an opponent we must stop at all costs. The sins of the past are scary. So scary, you'll never see your retribution coming. I did the same thing to Knightley and Blaze. Hold it! So you still intend to insist that you were not directly involved to the very end? Right. I never dirtied my own hands. I just like to watch. As they hate and kill each other, never realizing that they were being manipulated all along. Spectating from afar, just like you did 12 years ago. You mean the SS5 incident? That's so funny! If I remember correctly, all your father's hard work amounted to nothing. Wouldn't you normally call someone like that incompetent? You! Agent Lang, restrain yourself! Damn it! We don't know the conclusion your father arrived at. However, we are here now because we chased after his footsteps. To interrupt your little moment. I hate to interrupt your little moment, but I don't believe that kind of idealism will solve anything. Besides, at any rate, there's no way the body double could have gone for a ride in my balloon. Hold it! That's the only way the double could have gotten off the tower. Well, let's suppose that was the case, even if I had carried the body double down. What's the problem with that? So you admit it, you did carry the body double. Let's not make a fuss over absurd opinions, Mr. Edgeworth. That's just not like you. You think the body double held me at gunpoint and asked me to go on a sightseeing joyride? There's no way that could have happened. And you know that full well, don't you? It's possible you negotiated with him by using the information about John as a bribe. But he shot me at me, remember? There's just no way we could negotiate. In that case, what if he used sleeping drugs and transported him when he was knocked out? Then allow me to ask, have they detected any traces of sleeping drugs from his body? It's no good. I can't find any openings. Mr. Edgeworth, isn't there something more important we should be talking about? The double was crushed by the monster's head, right? Allow me to propose a question. Was the double really crushed beneath the monster's head? That's it. For a genius prosecutor, you sure are quick to withdraw your previous statements. Weren't you the one who deduced that he was crushed by the monster's head to begin with? Indeed, I certainly came to that conclusion once before. However, that was when we knew nothing of nothing else that was capable of crushing him to death. Knew? Why the past tense? It's not like there's anything else, you know? The body double was crushed to death by the monster's head. That is an unshakable fact. Is there nothing else? Some decisive evidence that connects this match to the crushed president? How unsightly, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you stop this useless struggle? Besides, don't you already know who the culprit is? Remember? And who was it that caused the monster's head to fall? Hold it! Certainly the one who caused the monster's head to fall was John. However, even John himself admits to that. Well then, doesn't that settle everything? Good job, guys. Case closed. The one who killed the double was John Marsh, and since the police just happened to be here... No, not yet. There's still room for further investigation. Don't force yourself. Well then, tell me, what else is there to investigate? And if you can't, I want that kid arrested as soon as possible. You aren't going to overlook a crime, are you? Am I wrong? Mr. Edgeworth, what do we do? Is there really no help left? Think! If Mr. Keyes killed the double, then the murder could only have occurred when the two met face to face. What he had with him at the real time must be the real murder weapon. Darn it, does he intend to play innocent until the very end? The body double's cause of death was rather unique. He was crushed under the monster's head. Then the killer would be John after all. Isn't there anything else that could have crushed the double? Something else that could have crushed the body double. I think of something, though I'm not sure how well this is gonna go. Whatever, let's risk it all. Objection! John was not the one who killed the body double. He was crushed by a monster. Quit clowning around. This isn't like you at all. Oh, I get it. Since John is supposed to understand the heart of a monster. The one who understands the heart of monsters is you. Not even I have monsters for friends, you know? Stop being so modest. Didn't you have one very important friend? A monster you control at will? Simon Keys, you're the one who killed the body double. That's... a lion balloon. A monster made of cloth that expands when filled with hot air. It suits you quite well, wouldn't you agree? Sorry, but I have no idea what you're talking about. You've been fixated on your claim that you manipulated John in the body double. Probably because it's an important fantasy of yours. After all, even an animal tamer could not tame the dead. The body double had already been murdered while he was on the roof. And the murder weapon was the balloon you were in. I see. Though it floats in the air, that balloon still weighs several hundred pounds. When the double threatened you on the rooftop, you immediately came up with a plan to defend yourself. And that plan was to crush him with your balloon. Whether the body double wanted to get on, or that he was carrying a gun, none of that mattered. Because what you carried in your balloon was the body double's corpse. Hold on a sec, Mr. Edgeworth. You're saying that the double was killed on the rooftop 2 nights ago? Well, that simply doesn't match up with the time of death. What did you say? That's not like you at all, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a good look at the autopsy report. The time of death was around 11 p.m. last night! Ugh. Last night? That's right. The very night that Mozilla's head fell. Well, Johnny boy, come on. How about telling us the truth? You killed your father, right? I know the feeling. You hated him, didn't you? Your father who left you all alone forever. You're wrong! I had no idea that guy was my dad. Not this again. Didn't I personally tell you myself? Was my logic wrong? Mr. Edgeworth, allow me to thank you once again for chasing down Blaze and Patricia and bringing them both to ruin. My revenge was a success thanks to your logic. If only the time of death matched up, then my logic would fit. Perhaps he did something to throw off the time of death? And what's more, Dame Gustavia, was it? You even took down the culprit of the IS-7 incident! Dame Gustavia in the IS-7 incident? That's it! Gustavia killed Dover and hid his body in a block of ice. Mr. Gustavia intended to freeze the body in order to throw off the time of death. If the time of death had coincided with the tea party, Mr. Gustavia would have been suspected. That is correct! It's a shame that I didn't get to witness his destruction. How can you say that? Wasn't Mr. Gustavia your father, Simon? I couldn't care less. My father left me all alone. Even if we share the same blood, that man is not my father. I hate to say it, but like father, like son. You're the spitting image of him, Simon. The father you hated so much. What are you talking about? Must have been fate. By sheer coincidence, you just happened to use the exact same method your father did. To throw out the victim's time of death. You're saying I threw off the time of death? How would I have done that? The answer lies in where you hid the body double's body. This was the place you used to hide the body. Take that! Throwing off the time of death by freezing the body along with John's kidnapping. Seems that everything is coming together. The kidnapping? What are we going back to that? I don't know a thing about it. Don't forget, John was confined in a refrigerated warehouse. That's right. You kept the body double's corpse in that very same warehouse. 18 years ago, your father hid a body in the same way. What? My father, the one who abandoned me, did the same thing? Who would have guessed that both father and son would use the same method? Stop it! Don't let me in with that guy! My father, I'm nothing like him. There's not a single connection between us. You may think so, but even now, your bond with Mr. Gustavia still remains. Didn't you say once before, I don't like sweets? That may have came from the shock of losing your father, don't you think? You guys have no idea what you're saying. Even if you deny your father, aren't your thoughts and actions the same? Particularly your belief of sacrificing others to protect yourself. And finally, your crimes were brought to light just as his were. Just kidding. I don't know anything about that warehouse. I had nothing to do with the kidnapping after all. In order to threaten Judge Courtney, it's clear that you partook in the kidnapping. How scary. Those who get involved with you will be charged with all sorts of crimes. In the end, there's no evidence. For the instigation and for the kidnapping. None at all. Or what? Are you gonna forge some evidence? Just like Blaze and the rest? Ugh. I'll do nothing of the sort. I can't let him provoke me. You always say, pursue the truth no matter what, right? Ha! Don't you mean the truth that's most convenient to you? After all, that's how the police pull the wool over the eyes of those without power. And that's why my revenge was necessary. None of you can catch me. Not Patricia, not Blaze, and not even you. Mr. Edgeworth, at this rate, is there something, anything we can do? Even though all my logic points to this man, I just need evidence. Even a single piece of evidence would suffice. Well, it's been a fun show, but it looks like it's time for the curtains to close. If you'd like, why don't you come and see my next performance? I'll let you, even if you admit defeat. I'll let you if you admit defeat. Sorry. Who was that? And that is an answer that we are going to have to answer next time. Or that we're going to have to figure out next time. I know this episode is cut a little bit short, but I do have something else that I need to do. Keep on schedule and whatnot. So we're going to have to end this episode here. In the next episode of Miles Edgeworth AAI2 Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path, the Grand Turnabout. And this is my assumption, I really hope, that we are going to be wrapping up this case and the Miles Edgeworth games. See you guys later.